everybody, I'm Elise Wang, and on today's video on Book for Thought, I'm going to talk about Framed Ink, Drawing and Composition for Visual Storytellers by Marcus Mateo. Sorry I haven't been posting videos. I have had a terrible stomach gastric attack. It's kind of still ongoing. It's healing slowly. And yeah, I finally had the energy to start being active again. So for today, we're going to talk about the book. And the format is going to be a little bit different because this book has so many visuals that I just want to show it to you guys. So the video is going to be in two parts. I'm going to share the contents of the book first, and then I'll share with you guys what I think of it. Now for our little book tour. So this is just to give you a rough idea on what to expect if you're considering on getting the book. And there's a lot of illustration to help explain his points, and it really helps a lot, especially if you love reading graphic novels or watching movies or anything in life. Really, when things happen so good, so seamless, it's hard for us to understand the amount of time and effort that was put into it, and to have that explained to you, that is quite something. Sorry, it's getting quite hard to... He even shows the faces, hairstyles, the wardrobe. He also touches a little bit on paneling, but of course it's not very in-depth. So there you have it. So I hope you guys don't mind sharing a little bit about myself. I was always into art, but I never really got serious about it until I picked up graphic novels, and which was back in 2015. And when I read it, and it was so fascinating to me how to tell like such a gripping story through visual storytelling. And from that, it was like, that's what really got me into wanting to do art like really seriously, because it's like to be able to touch people's lives through storytelling. It's really precious, and hopefully one day I would like to emanate that. I've been wanting to do a graphic novel on my own someday, but I didn't know where to start, so I googled recommended books, and here it was. This piece. I ordered it online on Kinokuniya, and they had to ship it in. I read this book a few years back, and I still haven't gotten into drawing graphic novels. There's just a lot of elements. You have to draw humans, you have to draw animals, you have to draw objects, you have to draw perspective, buildings, a lot of things you have to master. So it's like, it is definitely not an easy task. And the fact that, you have to bring all these elements together and make it cohesive or engaging for the audience it's a lot of task on your plate right there. Along the way, I kind of found love in animal portraits, sculpting, calligraphy, digital painting, all sorts. I recently wanted to start my own graphic novel again, so I decided to pick this book up and to recall what I read, and to also let you guys know how wonderful this book is. So right off the bat, I'm just gonna say it, I love this book. Go out and buy it if you want to do graphic novels and learn to, create interesting, engaging compositions. Go buy it. Don't even listen to what I have to say. But if you are interested in what I have to say, what I like about it is that it goes straight to the point, and there are many illustrative examples to further explain his teachings. If you're like me, who also have a love for photography and painting, you can find similarities with each other, such as lighting and posing, and sometimes in art. You can take those things into account, in photography, and translate it into art to make it interesting. So the way he explains in his book, it's much like being a director of your own movie. What camera lens do you use? Do you use a wide angle, a zoom, a portrait lens? Different lens gives a different look and feel, thus giving the audience different emotions, and that's the most important. Trying to influence how the audience will feel, and by doing that, you need to translate your visual story as seamless as possible. If your compositions are complicated and hard to follow, the audience will spend their time trying to figure out what it is you're trying to put together. And a confused audience is a bad thing because they'll lose interest. I learned plenty in this book, and I can see myself referring to it many times more in the future. There is a lot to unpack and refresh yourself on certain points. I feel like things like this doesn't really sit well in your head until you implement them again and again until it becomes natural. So until that day comes, I'm gonna refer a lot to it. I like how he explains his process, kind of like a movie set. Where to position your actors, how the set will look like, what kind of lighting you should use, how about wardrobe, where will the direction of the camera follow your subject, etc., etc. And of course, the framing and composition. How do you want your audience to feel? Curious, cautious, intrigued, so much potential, so many ways to execute. He will illustrate a scene and explain each panel and the storytelling he had in mind when painting it. If you are a movie buff, you know every little thing that happens on a movie set is not by accident. Every scenery, every clothing, every pose, it's all planted to move the audience in the direction of the story. And it truly fascinates me of our passion for narratives and how we evolve different methods of telling them. And the amount of thought put into it is just remarkable. I can't really complain anything about this book. I felt like however much I spent on it, I felt it was well worth it. If I were to nitpick, he does talk a bit about dialogues, speech balloons, and onomatopoeias, but it was very brief, like a page or two. They were interesting points, and I really wish that they could have been expanded upon, but I suppose this was more of visual storytelling than the storytelling itself. However, I guess we can learn that from another book for another day. So, long story short, I highly recommend this book for whoever is interested in drawing graphic novels. So, if you're looking to start out to draw your own graphic novel, I think this book is going to be really helpful in your life. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you like it and I hope you found it helpful. If you did, I would really appreciate if you like and subscribe the video. It would really help the channel a lot. I post free videos, tutorials, and put reference photos for artists to learn and use. And if you'd like to support me, you can do so by pledging on my Patreon site. The link is below in the video description. You can stay up to date with what I am doing via Instagram. That's all for today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!